Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 4,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 110 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Yo, 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 what up? This is Rocky Asuka Romero of Chaos, and you are listening to Keepin' It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keepin' It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out in Barrio the Frogs. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here, joined by Muzza Murray Bone. On today's show, we'll be reviewing nights 7 through 10 of the Best of Super Junior 26, answering your questions, and of course, covering all latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the podcasts and columns over at socialsuplex.com. Go to socialsuplex.com/subscribe. It's time to get all the podcasts and columns delivered directly to your email inbox. This episode of Keeping It Strong Style is brought to you by Powerslam.tv. Powerslam TV is an independent wrestling streaming service with over 5,000 hours of wrestling from companies across the world. Use promo code SOCIALSUPLEX to get your first month free. Also, make sure you check out our Pro Wrestling Tees store, prowrestlingtees.com/socialsuplex. That's where you can get your official Keeping It Strong Style t-shirt, as well as t-shirts from other shows here on the network. And like you might have heard in the intro, I am not joined by the young boy Josh Smith this week. Some stuff came up, unable to be on the show this week, but filling in for him from our Social Suplex crew. You might recognize him as Muzza_44 on Reddit or at MurrayBone44 on Twitter. That's right. We got Muzza here. Murray. You prefer to be, should I call you just Muzza throughout or Murray? Does it matter?
Either works. Probably Muzza will be easier. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, Muzza, well, thank you for coming on in and filling in for the young boy. Really appreciate that.
You could say it's an improvement.
Oh, shots fired already, man. So, Muzza, you know, when we have new people on the show or guests on the show, we like to kind of find out, you know, how they started watching New Japan, who their favorite wrestler is, and their favorite match. So let's start. How did you start watching New Japan?
All right, so the first time I ever really fully watched New Japan was Wrestle Kingdom 11. 11, I had heard about New Japan since Wrestle Kingdom 10 when Nakamura, Styles, and the other forget their names, Eddie Gallows and Anderson joined WWE, and I was keeping notes on it, but then fully began watching it at Wrestle Kingdom 11, and been hooked ever since, really.
Nice. Yeah, man. So who's your current favorite right now?
It would have to be Sonata, without a doubt.
Really?
Really, yes. I mean, it was Kenny Omega, but until he comes back, I don't know if he's New Japan or not. So for now, I'm sticking with Sonata.
Gotcha. So I'm sure being a Sonata fan, you must have been very happy with his New Japan Cup performance.
Yeah, obviously, I was disappointed he didn't win, but I knew it wasn't going to happen because of it being at G1 Supercard. If it was at a Sakura Genesis, then maybe, but
if this was any other year, Sonata definitely could have won. But yeah, the whole G1 Supercard thing definitely changed some stuff there.
And the fact he's had 2 heavyweight title shots this year already is incredible for me. fan, and I think as much as people think he might not make it as a main eventer because he's freelance, I think he will be near enough that level.
Yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see how the rest of his year looks. We know this week they announced that Evil and Sonata will be at the Dallas show. So obviously both of those guys are going to be in the G1 Climax. Not sure if they're going to be in the same block or opposite blocks, what that's going to look like. But yeah, it'll be definitely interesting to see how he's booked during G1. So your favorite New Japan match of all time?
Jeez, that's a tough one. There's too many good matches, as always. But probably gonna have to go with Omega Okada. I think it's 4, the one from Dominion.
Yes, dude. We all love that match. That match just blew everything out of the water, and it's such an amazing match. And man, like, you want to see what pro wrestling should be like. Omega Okada, that whole series, but definitely that final match at Dominion last year was just incredible.
Yeah, it was just incredible watching it and just finally seeing Omega win the big one was worth the wait almost.
Yeah.
If only the vein was as good as it was hyped up to be, but enough about that, really.
All right, man. So we're going to jump into the show. You know, typically we do like the news after we do like our reviews or whatever show we're reviewing, but we had some big news this morning that I don't think we would do it justice if we waited until the end of the show to talk about this. I think we need to talk about this right now, and that's the fact that Jon Moxley, the former Dean Ambrose, will be making his first New Japan Pro Wrestling appearance on June 5th in Ryogoku at the Best of the Super Junior Finals. He tweeted out this morning, the video that we've been seeing for the last several weeks now of Knife Pervert 2, the guy in the bar, carving an hourglass into the bar saying time's up. We've seen this video over and over and over and over and over again before Juice matches, after Juice matches, while Juice has been on commentary this week. But then Jon Moxley tweeted out a video this morning revealing that he is the guy sitting at the bar. He's Knife Pervert 2. The hourglass that he's scraped into the bar revealed that if you spread it out, it said Mox. So yeah, man, this is crazy.
Absolutely. Like, I'm pretty sure no one thought, but I mean, obviously some people had thought about it, but the fact that they had the Union Jack on in his jacket sort of made everyone think it's someone from Rev Pro, but obviously it's not.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing a lot of people come in from Rev Pro lately. Recently, El Phantasmo. But the Union Jack definitely threw everybody off. Everybody thought it was Chris Brooks, but then we saw, the DDT video that they did, realizing, okay, this is not going to be Chris Brooks. And just, once Moxley got released from WWE, we did get some questions, people asking us, do you think that he would come to New Japan, or would he be an option for New Japan? And, when we got those questions, initially I'm like, I don't think he would go there. I just didn't feel like he he fits the current New Japan style. But clearly, you know, Gato has other plans, and we saw Mox show up at Double or Nothing this weekend, attacking Jericho and Kenny Omega. And Tony Khan did say in the post-show press conference that Jon Moxley is full-time with All Elite Wrestling, but until things are ramped up, he will be taking independent bookings and international bookings. He's already been announced for Northeast Wrestling. And clearly here is the international part of that comment here showing up at New Japan Pro Wrestling. We had a question here on Twitter from the Gargoyle Queen, and she says, are you excited for Juice versus Mox?
Oh, absolutely. It's a matchup that as far as I know, it's never happened before. I don't think these two ever faced off by the time just with CJ Parker and NXT. Ambrose was already main roster, so unless they fought in FCW, I wouldn't know if they have fought, but yeah, that is a match I do definitely want to watch.
Yeah, and honestly, I think Juice is the perfect first person for Mox to wrestle. You know, a guy that can work, you know, obviously they both speak English, and a guy that can work a similar style, can work, you know, that WWE style at first, and kind of get Mox, you know, somebody that I'm not sure if they wrestled or not, but I'm sure they would be more comfortable with each other, and kind of it would be easier for Mox to kind of tip his toes in the water, wrestling somebody like Juice over throwing him in there with, you know, a Goto or Ishii or Sonata or somebody like that.
Yeah, definitely. Should be one hell of a match for certain. I've just had a quick look, and it seems to be they have faced off before, but never in a big match. Like, they've faced off in a house shows, really, in multi-mans. They did have a singles match in a dark show at NXT at Full Sail, which Ambrose won, but apart from that, never on screen.
Gotcha. So they've had some familiarity with each other, and so I think this will be a good start for Mox. I'm not 100% sure if they're going to be wrestling on that Best of Super Junior final, because so far New Japan has just been promoting it as he's showing up to call out Juice. So I'm not sure if there's going to be like a face-to-face kind of thing, and he challenges Juice for Dominion, or they're actually going to have the match at Best of Super Junior final. That hasn't been really made clear yet. I think either way, I think it works.
Yeah, it does work either way. Yes, Dominion would make sense. It's essentially their SummerSlam, but you also have the fact that the Best of Super Junior finals is in Ryogoku Hall, and you need some big matches to help promote that show. So it's either one works, really.
Then we had another follow-up question from the Gargoyle Queen. She says, who do you want Mox to face in New Japan Pro Wrestling except Ishii? Because, of course, Ishii.
Yeah, of course. You've got the obvious. You've got Okada. Excuse me. Okada, Naito, and Tanahashi. Then I've got, because I really would want to see Moxley versus Suzuki.
Yeah, that's the top one for me. I think you have Mox and Suzuki just have this straight up brawl, strong style, hitting each other, chairs, fighting in the crowd, going through tables, just having this crazy brawl. I think that would be an awesome match to see. And like you mentioned, of course, all those top guys in New Japan. I mean, that's going to be fresh matchups on the top. So yeah, I mean, all those guys, and of course, the Ishii slug brawl is there. Heck, I would love to see him versus Shingo in a slugging brawl.
I'm pretty sure everyone wants a match with Shingo at this point. He's just been so dominant and so good. And then another match you could also do is Moxley versus Jay White, Battle of the Knife Perverts.
Yeah, have a knife duel.
Yeah, I remember seeing this video on Twitter of I forget which, I don't know what movie or TV show it's from, but it's a thing where it's like pictured on a face of Jay White with a switchblade saying switchblade, and then it's a picture of Moxley saying that's not a knife, pulls out a big knife saying this is a knife. So,
yeah, I also see, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, there's a video, it's like New Japan in 2019, there's a little kid like running, and the mom's like, what do you have in your hand? He's like, a knife. Oh man. So yeah, a lot of knife perverts are starting to break out now in New Japan.
Vince Russo was here, he'd book a knife on a pole match. That's
oh my gosh. Question here from Reddit user, why did you do that, bro? He says, how often do you see Mox wrestling in New Japan? More like the Jericho schedule or the Cody schedule?
That is a good question. It's really... I believe it's probably going to be more the Cody schedule than Jericho, in my view. I think because with Jericho, I think it's different. Is it really different though? With Jericho, he's someone who's, in his, you would say the twilight of his career, but the fact he's still going is incredible. And so he doesn't have to have as many matches. Moxley, I think, is someone who could easily do a lot of matches. I think he'll probably won't do any Road 2 shows, but I think he'll be there for the big shows without a doubt.
Yeah, honestly, I think it all depends on the AEW schedule. I mean, right now, things are kind of light. He's going to have his first AEW match at Fyter Fest in Daytona. Not sure yet if he's going to be booked for Fight of the Fallen in Jacksonville. I would think he will be on the August 31st All Out, and then they got TV starting in October. So once TV starts, I feel like he's going to be a lot more busier, and so he might, just because of the schedule, wind up with a Jericho kind of spot where maybe he only shows up at Dominion, Wrestle Kingdom, and maybe like a Power Struggle. Maybe 3 or 4 big shows throughout the year, just based on the schedule. So I guess we'll have to see. Just depending on the workload, what that looks like. So obviously he's coming in here for this June 5th show. And, within our Social Suplex group chat, there was a question, do you think we could see him in the G1?
That is something that I definitely want to see. Now, whether it would happen is the real question, because as we know, Fight for the Fallen is July 13th, and New Japan are in Tokyo at that time. So if he's booked for Fight for the Fallen, I don't see him in the G1 at all.
Right, yeah. If he's booked for Jacksonville, there's no way that he could be in the G1. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I mean, like you, I would love to see Mox in the G1. Once again, that's fresh matchups. We already know we're going to have like 4 or 5 open spots just based off of people who've left over the years. So I definitely think, having Mox fill one of those spots could be very interesting, lead to a lot of those dream matches that people want to see. And it will just definitely bring some buzz to New Japan. And, the Dallas show, tickets have kind of been chugging along for that. If they can announce Mox as in the G1 and a part of that tour, I'm sure that Dallas show is going to fill up very quickly.
Yeah, definitely. Though, even if he isn't booked for the G1, there is probably still the chance he could show up at Dallas in some sort of way.
Right. Somebody, I think it was Maserati in our group, he mentioned, actually it was Clive. He said, has anybody thought about, Mox attacking Ibushi to, as a sign, to get under Kenny's skin, which I definitely think that would be kind of a cool thing to do and start this kind of like cross-brand storyline kind of thing would be very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, and I also think if he won't be in the G1, I could see him defending the US belt. Maybe if he wins the US belt, he could defend it at the G1 Climax Finals. Could be another option.
Yeah, you can definitely bring him in for the finals. We have a question here from Reddit user Eater of Bread. He says, a couple weeks ago, we thought Chris Brooks was coming to New Japan. We now find out it was actually Jon Moxley. Can you remember a bigger upgrade than this?
I don't think there has been.
Yeah, I had a hard time thinking of like guys that are supposed to be coming in and you thought it was one person and it ended up being somebody so much better than this. Yeah.
That being said, we did lose Desperado, but managed to get Dookie.
Yeah, that was a downgrade.
The downgrade. Though I don't know, some people have felt Navita was an improvement over Flip, so I don't know if that's the closest one you can think of.
Yeah, I'm sure as soon as we're done recording, I'll think of something that's kind of similar, but definitely this is a big upgrade. No offense to Chris Brooks. He's a fine guy, but obviously Moxley is a huge superstar. He's shocked the wrestling world by appearing on Double or Nothing, cutting crazy promos. This is definitely a guy that can help them with the Western expansion and kind of pick up some of the momentum that was lost with the elite guys leaving.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool, man. So any other final thoughts on Jon Moxley?
No, not really. Happy to see him. He was one of my, of course, favorite wrestlers in WWE. And I'm just happy to see him on AEW. Then all of a sudden I wake up today and all of a sudden he's going to be in New Japan, and I'm just like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah,
he has been crazy.
Yeah, man. I wake up, grab my phone, and like just blown up with notifications. I'm like, what the heck is going on? And then I see that the video of Mox revealing himself as the guy that's going after Juice, and like wrestling in 2019 is crazy right now.
2019 has definitely been the year for wrestling. I'm pretty sure we've said that for the past couple of years, though.
Yeah, it just seems like every year is like in the last like 5 years, man. Like things just picked up, more access to great wrestling, different TV deals, streaming services. Now we got AEW that started. We're going to be talking, this week, man, the 3 Cork and Hall shows from New Japan were just incredible. This is a great time to be a fan of professional wrestling. There's so many options out there for you and so many different styles. So, yeah, man, great time to be a wrestling fan.
Absolutely.
All right, man. So let's start talking about the best of the Super Juniors. This past week, we had night 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we're going to go just like how Young Boy and I did last week. We'll start with the A block, starting at the top-ranked guy, working our way down, and then we'll move on to the B block. We'll kind of highlight, some of what our thoughts on these guys and some of the matches they had, because clearly we don't have enough time to break down 40 matches. We'll be here for quite a while, so we'll try and touch on the highlights of those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
But first, we had a question from Reddit user Rambone Slam Pig. He says, do you think this Best of the Super Junior tournament is helping to raise the profile of enough junior heavyweights that the division will be in a strong position, even if Will Ospreay or Shingo transition to heavyweight? Do you think that it's what Gato is planning to do?
Jeez, that is a definite interesting question. I think this tournament has helped raise the profile without a doubt. There's been so many good matches so far on this tour. You've had Sho versus Shingo, Ishimori Dragon Lee, And, yeah, we've got these matches that have happened through nights 7 to 10, and it's definitely helped raise the profile of junior heavyweights.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I definitely think there are certain guys that he's been building within this tournament. Obviously Shingo Takagi has been an absolute superstar, but obviously, I mean, he's meant for the heavyweight division. So you look at some other guys, Taiji Ishimori is a guy that they've kind of been building over the last 2 years as somebody who's going to be like the face of the junior division. They're keeping him strong in this tournament. Obviously, you got Dragon Lee, a Show, man. We'll talk about him in a few minutes, but, Show is a guy that he doesn't have the best win-loss record, but the matches that he's had, he's been breaking out, and I can definitely see him as a future junior ace of the company. And then you got, El Phantasmo. I mean, they've strapped the rocket on that man, and he's definitely going to be a big player in the junior division for the rest of this year. Also, Robbie Eagles is another guy I could see, as a star in the junior division. So, yeah, I think this tournament definitely did help establish kind of some of the newer faces and, just reinvigorate the junior heavyweight division.
Yeah, they've definitely been using their partner promotions like Ring of Honor, CMLL, Rev Pro, using those partnerships to help bring the best out of a division that has lost a lot of guys over the past couple of years, like Beretta, Tai Chi. Pretty sure there's others I'm not remembering here.
Kushida.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start taking a look at the A block here. So in first place and top of the A block, 7 wins, 0 losses, 14 points. The Dragon, Shingo Takagi. Muzza, man, what are your thoughts been on Shingo?
How is this man a junior? This man is just decimating everyone in this tournament. Like, of course, he had that banger of a match with Show. Then I forget who he faced in the next night. It was Teton. That was another decent match. And then he's had his matches with Marty and Dragon Lee, and they've all been absolute great matches.
Yeah, this guy has been on an absolute tear. This week, night 7, he defeated Marty Scurll. I have that at 3.75. Night 8, he had an incredible match with Dragon Lee. I rated that 4.5. Night 9, he defeated Taka, and then night 10, he defeated Tiger Mask. Got the Taka match at 3 stars, and the Tiger Mask at 3.25. But yeah, they have created an aura around Shingo that this guy is unstoppable. He's a monster. And you look at that Dragon Lee match. Dragon Lee's the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. If anybody had a chance to beat Shingo, it would have been Dragon Lee. But that was not the case. But they did have an incredible back and forth match. What do you think about the Shingo Dragon Lee match?
Yeah, that was a absolute amazing match. Shingo just using his size to his advantage. Dragon Lee doing almost anything and everything to try and pick up the 2 points, but it was not to be.
Yeah, there was just nothing that he could do in his arsenal to stop Shingo, man. But yeah, Shingo just come off like such a star in this match, and Dragon Lee looked great also. But at the end of the day, man, Shingo was just too much, and Dragon Lee just couldn't overcome. Like you mentioned, he used a lot of his best stuff and pulled out he pretty much emptied the chamber on Shingo, but he just wouldn't go down. And at the end of the day, it seems like Shingo is the superior dragon over Dragon Lee. And we did have a question here from Reddit user Dragon Lee 23. how hyped were you guys during the last sequence between Dragon Lee and Shingo?
God, I'm now trying to remember what that sequence was again. Do you remember what it was? I'm blanking out.
My notes here. Towards the end here, Shingo hits the Noshigami and the pumping bomber for a near fall. Then Lee gets a cradle for a near fall. Then a code red for a near fall. He hits a big knee strike and does the rebound German, then another knee strike, and then the poison Rana, and then another knee strike. But then Shingo kicks out at 1. After that flurry, Shingo kicks out at 1. Then Lee follows up with another knee strike for a near fall. And then he goes for the Desnukadora, but Shingo counters out of that, hits the last of the dragon. Yeah, that closing sequence was amazing. I was losing my mind here in the dojo.
Same, man. It was just incredible. The fact after all of that, Shingo kicks out at 1. That is just insane.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Shingo, he's a juggernaut. At this point in the tournament, honestly, I wouldn't have anybody beat him. I mean, he has two more A-block matches left, and then the finals. I think he just needs to go to the finals undefeated, 9-0. Yeah, man, this guy's just been incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have. I thought would they make Shingo go and beat him, but I just didn't think they would. But they've proven me wrong without a doubt. Because I think in my predictions I had Shingo, and I think it was like ending at what, I forget which matches, but I had one ending in a double count out and one being a draw.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of people I think were expecting maybe they might do a draw or a count out or a 30-minute time limit draw to potentially help somebody else get over and not have Shingo lose. But they've been sticking with the plan, just making this guy a monster and keeping him unbeaten. At this point, I don't think it makes sense for anybody else to beat him in the tournament. The guys that could have beat him, Dragon Lee, Sho and Ishimori couldn't get the job done, and I don't think anybody else should be able to.
Ishimori is the last match he's got, if I recall.
Yes, that'll be on the last A-block night, Taiji Ishimori. So speaking of Taiji, he's the next guy we're going to talk about. He has a record of 6-1, 12 points. On night 7, he defeated Taka, got that at 2.5 stars. On night 8, he lost to Kanemaru, got that at 2.25. Night 9, he defeated Jonathan Gresham, got that at 3 stars. And then on night 10, in the main event, he defeated Sho. I have that at 4 stars. So being 6-1, Taiji Ishimori is still alive. So in order for him to make it to the finals, he has to win his last 2 matches. And obviously his last match, like we mentioned, would be against Shingo. So if he could beat Shingo, then they would be tied in record. And then because Taiji beat Shingo, he would have the tiebreaker. And that would allow him to go to the finals.
Yeah, definitely. Though Ishimori, he has been solid throughout this tournament, despite the worries of a neck injury by the looks of it, which he's been selling. The loss to Kanemaru, I did see that coming due to their prior history in Noah, where Ishimori has never beaten Kanemaru. So I sort of felt that was if there was one match I saw Taiji dropping 2, that was one of them.
Yeah, I think Taiji Ishimori, he's kind of been all right in this tournament. I definitely feel like he's been banged up, and I definitely think there is some kind of injury there because he just hasn't been moving the way that we normally see him move. And even if you look at night 10, that main event with Sho, I mean, it ended up being a great match, but I felt if he was 100%, that match would have been even better than it was. So it definitely seems like he's still feeling the effects of an injury, and I'm wondering if that's why on night 8 that match with Kanemaru was so short.
Yeah, no, the match with Taka was also noticeably short. I think that only went like 6 minutes.
Yeah, so he's been having a lot of quick matches, and it seems like have been trying to, decrease the amount of time he's been in the ring. They do have day off today and Tuesday, and then things pick back up on Wednesday. So hopefully with those 2 days off, he'll be able to recover a little bit and be primed for these last 2 A block nights. But yeah, Taiji's, a guy that coming into the tournament, everybody was kind of excited to see what he was going to do. Obviously, you figured he'd be on top of the block, which he is, but his performances have just not been where I think a lot of people expected it to be.
Yeah, definitely. So that's just not shame about the injury that his matches have sort of suffered a bit, but even with that injury, he's still managing to pull off decent enough matches.
Right. Yeah. So I'm not trying to go too hard on him because of the injury, but like you mentioned, even with being banged up and having an injury, he has been able to still have some great performances. And I definitely think the match with Show, main event from night 10, I definitely think that would be worth a watch if you're one of the guys that are kind of just, cherry picking this tournament, trying to watch 4 stars and above. I definitely think Taiji and Show is worth a watch there.
Yeah, definitely agree on that.
So next up, we have Dragon Lee. He's 5-2 with 10 points, and pretty much Dragon Lee and pretty much everybody else in this A block are out, are mathematically eliminated from winning the A block. Dragon Lee could win, even if he wins his last 2 matches. He already lost to Taiji Ishimori, and he already lost to Shingo. And with those guys having more points than him, like even if they tie, they have a tiebreaker over him. So there's no way that the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion here can advance to the A block finals.
Yeah, Dragon Lee has definitely, I think he's sort of picked himself up from the first couple of nights because, as you said, you rated him and Tiger Mask at 3 stars, him and Shingo, and both his matches with Shingo and Teton were both 4 stars plus. So he's definitely had a good couple of matches in Kirk.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, night 7 defeated Tiger Mask. Night 8, we talked about the Shingo match where he lost to Shingo. Night 9, he defeated Teton, and on night 10, he had the night off and got 2 points due to Taka Michinoku being injured, and he's actually going to be off for the rest of the tournament. So he got 2 points by forfeit there. We already kind of talked about the Shingo match, which was just an awesome main event there on that second night from Cork and Hall, and taking losses in this tournament so far to Ishimori and Shingo. You got to think that there's probably going to be another Ishimori Dragon Lee title match down the road, and then a Shingo Dragon Lee title match.
Yeah, definitely.
So moving on to the next guy, we have the villain Marty Scurll coming in with 4 wins and 3 losses. He has 8 points. On night 7, he lost to Shingo. On night 8, he lost to Sho. On night 9, he defeated Kanemaru. And night 10, he defeated Teton. What have been your thoughts on Marty in this tournament? I know a lot of people are kind of down on him in this tournament. So how have you been feeling about Marty?
Marty has been a bit of a disappointment. I'm a big fan of his. I remember I've watched him before his New Japan days, so I've obviously I've been a big fan, but it's clear that with his, whatever the hell his deal is with Ring of Honor, it's clear that New Japan don't really have any plans for him, so he's just kind of there. Of course, his seems to be like his best matches have been matches he's lost, with his losses to Shingo and Sho.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I feel like in Cork and Hall, I mean, he's so over, the crowd doing the whoop whoop chant throughout all of his matches, and just guy's a superstar. And I felt he kind of performed better with that energy from the Cork and crowd. The Shingo match and the show matches night 7 and night 8, I thought were some great performances. We started seeing Brody King started to get involved in some of the matches this week. We saw, so after the Shingo match on night 8, he came out all wrapped up and trying to play like he was so hurt from the Shingo match to try and take advantage of Sho, which eventually ended up failing.
Yeah, that was pretty funny for me to watch, without a doubt.
And then the match with Kanemaru was also had a lot of shenanigans. Both those guys trying to cheat and out heal each other, and there's the spot towards the end where Kanemaru gets the whiskey and tries to spit it in Skrull's face, but Skrull uses the umbrella to block. I thought that was a really cool spot. That eventually Skrull was the one that spit the whiskey in Kanemaru's face to get the win there.
Yeah, that was a fun spot. Decent enough match, without a doubt.
Yeah, and I think we are, like you, I'm a big Marty fan, and I have kind of been disappointed with his run in this tournament so far. He hasn't really had any horrible matches, outside of the Taiji match, which was a complete cluster. But I mean, he's been having some solid performances. Did better this week in the Cork and Hall shows, but I can't really blame him for not going all out. Obviously, I'm guessing this is probably his last Best of Super Juniors. The biggest mystery in wrestling right now is when his Ring of Honor contract is up at some point this year. But you got to think at some point soon he's going to be AEW bound. So I think he's not trying to get hurt right now and still kind of have some good matches.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
Right. So next up, we got the Octopus, Jonathan Gresham, who's also with 4 wins and 3 losses, 8 points on night 7. Gresham defeated Teton. I got that at 3 1/4. Night 8, Gresham defeated Tiger Mask. Also have that at 3 1/4. On night 9, he lost to Taiji Ishimori. Got that at 3 stars. And then on night 10, he defeated Kanemaru. Also got that at 3 stars. What's your thoughts on Gresham been so far?
Gresham's been all right. Gresham's been all right. It's his debut year, so there's a lot to expect from him. And he's been okay. But I feel like I don't think there's been any matches that really stand out that I can look to right now.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. The thing is, Jonathan Gresham, he's a very good professional wrestler. His technical skills are great. He's so smooth, and he has some good, grappling and submission work. But I think the problem here with Gresham, I think it's not just here in New Japan, it's also in Ring of Honor, is I don't feel like he gets enough time to really do what he needs to get done, because honestly, I haven't seen a Gresham match that's really blown me away. I feel like he kind of lives in the 3 to 3.5 star range, and I feel like that's because he's just not getting enough time to kind of do what he needs to get done in the ring with his style. With that grappling style, if you go too short, it's kind of hard to get into. And also if you go too long, it might get a little bit boring, but I feel like he's kind of been in a too short range. And I feel like, especially in this tournament, a lot of those 10 match nights, he hasn't really got much time to work.
Yeah, definitely. He's not been bad, but he's not been outstanding is my overall thoughts on him, really.
Exactly. I mean, but one thing I do love is just the way that he's been selling the broken fingers throughout the whole tournament. I mean, he got those fingers broke. What was it, like night 1 or 3? I can't remember. But
night 1.
Yeah, night 1, Marty broke his fingers, and he's been selling the fingers the whole tournament, which I thought was incredible because, a lot of times, Marty does a finger break spot and people don't sell it that long. It's usually a one-match sell, maybe a one-day sell, but Gresham's been selling the fingers the whole tournament. Also, he's now selling the ribs that he hurt, I think, in the match with Tiger Mask, I think it was.
I think it was.
Yeah, and so doing a great job selling. I think he's a great technical wrestler. I just think he hasn't been really been able to benefit really on positioning on the card. He's been in a lot of opening spots or, somewhere around the middle. He hasn't really gotten like the semi-main or main event spots to really do stuff. I think going forward for Gresham, I think whatever promotion he just needs more time. I heard he had a match in PWG with Jeff Cobb for the PWG title, which was an incredible matchup. And I saw some highlights from that. There he's getting a long, world title length match. So I just think more promotions just need to give him a chance to go a little bit longer.
Yeah, definitely. Despite all that, though, I think he is getting over with the Japanese crowd, which is a good thing for him, without a doubt.
Yeah, they've definitely been taking a liking to him, and the Cork and Hall crowd. You can call them smarks if you want. They're very in tune what's going on in the wrestling world, and that crowd. They know who these people are, and so they've heard about Gresham and they know about Gresham, and of course they saw him on the Honor Rising tour. And I think there's a great appreciation for grappling and submission-based wrestling in Japan. So it doesn't really surprise me a whole lot that the crowd has been taking to Gresham.
Yeah, and I did actually like his spot during his match with Kanemaru after the match where he tried Kanemaru's Suntory whiskey and he nearly spat it out when he first drank it.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. It was funny because I think that was pretty much my same reaction when I first tried whiskey, and it was I'm like, know the feeling.
So next up we have Sho. He's at 3 wins, 4 losses with 6 points. On night 7, he lost to Kanemaru. I got that at 2 stars. Night 8, night 8 he defeated Marty Skrull. Got that at 4. At night 9, he defeated Tiger Mask. I got that at 2.75. And then night 10, he lost to Taiji Ishimori. Got that at 4 stars. What have you been thinking about Sho?
Yeah, this has been, without a doubt, a breakout Best of Super Juniors form. He's now had, I think, 4 matches that went 4 stars or above with Shingo, Dragon Lee, Skrull, and Taiji Ishimori. And they've all been great for him. So it's definitely been able to show what he can do.
Yeah, definitely. Some people might look at his record and be like, New Japan's not really getting behind him. But if you just look at where he's been positioned, he's had a lot of main events and semi-mains throughout this tournament. He's been having great performances, and Sho in a couple years, he's going to be the ace of this junior division. And it's just a great thing what they've done with him in this tournament. Clearly he hasn't been the focal point like a Shingo or Dragon Lee or a Taiji Ishimori, but he's kind of been that guy that's been kind of being built up kind of on the back burner. And obviously they're not going super heavy on pushing him, but just the way that he's in position in this tournament, you can just see that they have plans for him in the future. And like we talked about earlier, that he had that main event with Taiji Ishimori that was really good. He did suffer, a big upset there on night 7 against Yoshinobu Kanemaru. They were brawling out in the crowd. I believe Kanemaru suplexed him in the crowd and then got back to the ring. The ref is doing the count, and then like at 18 or 19, Kanemaru pushes, I believe it was Tsuji. He pushes Tsuji into Sho, runs in the ring, gets the count out win there.
Yeah, that's great use of a young lion there in that maneuver.
Yeah, I understand why they did it. Like, I just was hoping to see, because Sho has been having such great performances. I was hoping that this would have been a little bit longer a match and would have, just kept showing that run of having great matches. But I totally understand why they did it. Kanemaru is the heel master. You want people to know that a count-out victory can actually happen. So yeah, and just getting over how sleazy Kanemaru is, and it also helps you get sympathy for Sho, because everybody wants to see Sho just do great in this tournament and get as many wins as possible. So while it wasn't, the match it could have been, it definitely added some story elements into the tournament.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on his new theme? I don't know what to think about it. Part of me does like it, but I don't know if it fits.
I like the theme, but also I'm not 100% sure if it fits Sho. It has that very, video gamey, Mega Man kind of 8-bit kind of flair to it. Sounds similar to like TJP's WWE theme. And, I guess, normally if a guy has a video game theme, it kind of goes with their gimmick, or they love video games, and that really hasn't been brought out with Sho. So it is kind of weird that he does have this video game theme music, but I do like it, and I feel like the crowds in Japan like it also.
Yeah, I think it does. It's a good thing without a doubt, but whether it fits Sho, have to wait and see.
Yep. So moving on to Tiger Mask, 2 wins, 5 losses, with 4 points. So on night 7, he lost to Dragon Lee. I got that at 3 stars. On night 8, he lost to Jonathan Gresham. I got that at 3.25. On night 9, he lost to Sho. I got that one at 3 stars. Night 10, he lost to Shingo Takagi, and I got that one at 3.25. What have you been thinking about Tiger Mask?
Tiger Mask has been there, really. He's just there. Like, he's, of course, in the twilight of his career, and I don't think he has that many, best of Super Juniors left in him, but he's been fine.
Yeah, the thing with Tiger Mask, especially the last couple of years in these tournaments, he kind of gets the hot start where he'll win like 2 or 3 matches in a row, and he just kind of fades off towards the end of the tournament. That's exactly what we saw here. I mean, he ate 4 losses in a row this week. So yeah, definitely kind of we're seeing that trend of him kind of fading out towards the end of the tournament here. All these matches that he had were good. I mean, nothing spectacular, but I mean, all passable, good matches. And we did see some grumpy Tiger Mask in the Gresham match. He was just kicking the crap out of Gresham.
Yeah, grumpy Tiger Mask is always the best Tiger Mask, as we all know.
Yeah, I made a joke to Rich because everybody should know by now that Rich is not a fan of Jonathan Gresham, and I was like, man, did you pay off Tiger Mask to go hard on Gresham in this match? He was kicking the crap out of him, striking the crap out of him. It went really hard. And also during the show match, there was some grumpy Tiger Mask also. And, kind of telling the story, even though Sho is not a young boy anymore, Tiger Mask still kind of views him as a young boy, and we know how Tiger Mask treats young boys. So there was that interesting dynamic with that matchup.
Yeah, I think Rich just doesn't like, this sort of like Gresham and Zack Sabre Jr. style of wrestling. I think that's his.
Well, that's part of it. Also part of it that Gresham's with Jordan Grace.
No, wait. I'm not getting this. Is there heat with Jordan, or is it something else? I'm not.
No, Rich is in love with Jordan.
I don't blame him. I'm the same.
But yeah, Jordan's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tiger Mask been fine here in this tournament. Clearly, with 4 points, obviously there's no chance of him advancing to this A block final. He's got 2 more matches left. If he wins both of those, he'll end at 4 and 5 and have 8 points, and that's not going to do him any good. So yeah, that's pretty much it on Tiger Mask. We do have a question here from Reddit user Asai Yojimbo. He says, so my wife and I have a big Tiger Mask question. If Tiger Mask 4 retires, who is the best choice for Tiger Mask 5? Who picks a successor? Is it fair to modernize Tiger Mask 5? My preference, or does Tiger Mask 5 embody the vintage spirit of the gimmick? My wife's preference. If there is a Tiger Mask 5, is he fiercely competitive and relevant as a wrestler?
Well, this is a big question, and I thankfully did prepare for this question. So a lot of people might not know this, but there already is a Tiger Mask 5. It was a MMA fight, former MMA fight called, I don't know how you say it, Ikashiya Minowa. He's a Japanese MMA fighter, and he was trained by the original Tiger Mask, Satoru Sayama, and was endorsed to be the 5th Tiger Mask, though I've not been able to find if he's still wrestling to this day or not. So, yeah, there's already been a 5th Tiger Mask, and then there's this other Tiger Mask called Shinsetsu Tiger Mask, who debuted in, I think it was late 2018. I think Shinsetsu stands for, I think it's like original teachings Tiger Mask or something, and he's the one who's trained by Sayama, though haven't heard much from him either. So, yeah.
Yeah, and we've had that question before about like the Tiger Mask 5 numbering, and you kind of nailed it on the head there. So let's ignore the numbering here and just say a new Tiger Mask, whatever number it actually is. Who do you think could be the next Tiger Mask?
That is a good question. I wouldn't really know, because there are options. You could easily put a Hirai Kawato, a Ren Narita, or maybe even an Oyamura, and just put them in the mask and say, here's the new Tiger Mask. But I'm not entirely certain if we will get another Tiger Mask in New Japan, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure either. I mean, there's a lot of investment in that gimmick, and it has been obviously going for a very long time. And obviously, anytime you have a masked wrestler, that's a way to sell money, and there's always a gimmick you can put on somebody. But if they were going to go with a Tiger Mask, I think it should be somebody coming back on an excursion. And you mentioned several young lions there. You mentioned Kawato, Narita, and Uemura, and we know that Kawato, he's been on excursion for a while now over in CMLL in Mexico. I think a young guy like Kawato coming back from excursion, that would be a great way to kind of introduce him in New Japan as this new Tiger Mask, and kind of take the helm and extend that character over. And he was already having great matches as a young lion, and I'm sure with what he's learned from CMLL, he'll be great. So that would be my pick. If I had to pick one person, I think I would go with Kawato.
Yeah, I would probably agree. And also the other part of the question on who picks the successor, as far as I know, I think it's the original Tiger Mask Sayama who decides who gets to, don the mask of Tiger Mask. So he's probably the one New Japan would have to ask to see if they can get another Tiger Mask.
Right. Also, too, we've had, I think that doesn't really get mentioned a lot. We did have Tiger Mask W. That was Kota Ibushi. They had that new Tiger Mask W anime that came out, and they had Kota Ibushi as Tiger Mask W and ACH as Tiger the Dark.
I forgot about that. I'm surprised they haven't announced a second series for that yet, or whether that's just it. They're not planning on anything, but I haven't heard anything.
And then the last part of this question, he's talking about should they modernize the next Tiger Mask, or should it embody like the vintage spirit of the gimmick?
I think the latter, in my view. I think with a gimmick like this, it's sort of like you're carrying on a legacy of Tiger Mask. So in my view, it makes sense that, but I guess you could sort of do both in a way, sort of modernize his sort of like move set, but also, try and keep it like the original, sort of like keep it similar to the original gimmick.
Right. And I agree with you. I definitely think you should kind of do a blend of both. Like, for example, let's say we go with Kawato. Kawato's a very talented guy, and I think he should have his own twist on the character and should be able to do some of his signature moves. But also at the same time, I think it would be cool to still have him use, the Tiger Suplex, the Tiger Bomb, and use some of those kind of key maneuvers that all Tiger Masks have kind of used over the years, and especially Tiger Mask 4. I think it'd be definitely cool to kind of mix it up. Definitely pay respect and homage to the character by using some of the traditional gimmick stuff, but at the same time, kind of separating himself from the other Tiger Mask and having his own little flair as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And then also he says, should this new Tiger Mask be fiercely competitive and relevant as a wrestler?
I would say so, because I think if you look at the history of Tiger Mask, Sayama was quite a big deal when he was Tiger Mask. Then we had, it was Misawa as Tiger Mask 2. He helped sort of get himself over using that gimmick. We then had Kanemoto as Tiger Mask 3, and I think he was the most least successful Tiger Mask. He never won a title as Tiger Mask. I think he only had it for like 2 years before losing a mask versus mask match to Liger, but that gimmick sort of did help elevate him. And as for the current Tiger Mask, the gimmick has sort of made Yamazaki's career, in my view. So I'm trying to think here, because my history of New Japan, while good, it's not great. I'm not sure. Do you know if Tiger Mask 4 was ever really that, that top junior during his
I feel like from a booking perspective, he was. I mean, he won back-to-back Best of the Super Juniors, had multiple reigns as the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. From what I've learned and kind of seen, I don't think he was the greatest worker at that time of juniors, but the company definitely got behind him and pushed him as one. I feel like if there is going to be a new Tiger Mask that is full time and is going to be there, he should be a relative competitive wrestler, or else what's the point of even doing it? If they're going to invest time in establishing a new full time Tiger Mask, he should be a top guy, and that's why I think a young guy like Kawato will be perfect. A young guy that's going to be super competitive and have great matches and can have a great career as Tiger Mask.
Yeah, I think if Kawato was to be the next Tiger Mask, I think he should be able to get himself over using that gimmick, but I also feel like I wouldn't have him be Tiger Mask for the whole of his career. I think he would eventually unmask and just go on as himself and get himself over, sort of using the Tiger Mask as a sort of launching pad to help get him over.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe at some point you could have him lose a mask versus mask match or something, and then going forward he could just be Kawato. But yeah, I mean, either way, I think if he's going to do it, he should definitely be competitive while under the mask.
Yeah, definitely.
So speaking of masks, our next guy, Teton from CMLL, he's currently 2-5 with 4 points on night 7. Lost to Gresham. I got that at 3.25. On night 8, he defeated Taka. Got that at 2.75. On night 9, he lost to Dragon League. Got that at 4 stars. And then night 10, actually I copied the wrong thing here.
I think night 10 he lost to Marty, I believe.
That's right. Yeah, he lost to Marty Skrull. Yeah. I think I had that at 3 stars, I think. But yeah, what have you been thinking about Teton, man?
Teton, I did. Now, I remember seeing Teton at the Junior Tag League he was a part of with Dragon League, and I very much enjoyed him. Hope to see him in Best of Super Juniors, and I was happy to see he got announced. But he's just kind of been there, really. He's not really done much. Like his best match has without doubt been with Dragon Lee. But apart from that, he's just sort of been there.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, he's pretty much just been a jag, man, with a mask. Just kind of been there. I mean, he hasn't had any horrible matches, but really hasn't had many great ones. Just, kind of there going with the flow. Like you mentioned, the Night 9 match with Dragon Lee, that was Teton's best match in the tournament. Obviously those guys familiar with each other from CMLL, and so able to go out there and kind of do stuff that they've done in Mexico. And so that being the best match of the tournament. But besides that, I mean, like we've been saying, he's just kind of been there. He hasn't really done anything super impressive outside of the Dragon Lee match. And, I wouldn't want to see him in another tournament based off this year's performance.
Yeah, it's a shame, really, because I do like him. And from what little of CMLL I have watched, I've enjoyed Teton. But, yeah, I wouldn't put him in another Best of Super Juniors. Then again, if he does improve, I wouldn't mind. But I think for now, I'd leave him out.
Yeah, and like you, I have seen some Teton stuff in the past. I've seen some stuff in Ring of Honor and CMLL, and I remember watching those matches and being impressed with him. But, I don't know what the disconnect here is in this tournament. I'm not sure if it's part of its card positioning, part of it like a language barrier, or what the deal is, but he just hasn't stood out at all.
I think what hasn't helped him is the fact that Dragon Lee has been so over in New Japan that, you think if he's great, imagine what Teton could do, but he's just kind of not really done much. And I think being in this block where, you've had guys like Shingo, Ishimori, and Lee that have all sort of like been so great that Teton's sort of just not been as... He's just there. I feel like he's just there to fill out the card, in my view. Like, there's no plan in the future for Teton. He's just sort of
right.
there.
They pretty much brought him in to be a pin eater. I mean, in these block tournaments, you do need somebody who's gonna be eating a lot of falls, and that's exactly what they got Teton doing here.
Yeah, which is a shame because you've got guys that could easily take falls, but he's sort of like we've repeated, he's just been there.
Yeah. So moving on, also with 4 points, 2 wins and 5 losses, we have Yoshinobu Kanemaru on night 7 defeating Sho, got that 2 stars. Night 8 he defeated Taiji, 2.25. Night 9 he lost to Skrull, 3 stars, and night 10 he lost to Gresham at 3 stars. What have you been thinking about Kanemaru?
Kanemaru, I really like him. Like, I've seen some of his work in Noah, and he's shown to be a very good junior wrestler. Of course, those best days are probably behind him now, and he's sort of there as again, similar to Tyrus, just a grumpy old veteran who can pull a shock win out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of hit the role that they had here for him, is to kind of be that guy who would play spoiler and upset people. Especially, we already kind of talked about night 7, where he got the count out win from Sho and stole that win from Sho by pushing Tsuji into Sho to get the count out. And then we talked about night 8, where he had that quick roll up on Taiji Ishimori. So night 7, night 8, he had back-to-back wins and had some momentum going there. Those were his first 2 wins of the tournament. But then eventually he fell to Skrull. He tried his antics with Skrull, didn't work, lost there. Tried some antics with Gresham as well, didn't work. Gresham was able to tap him out with the octopus stretch. So yeah, I thought, Kanemaru is a guy, I think I tweeted this out, I think he's very good at what he does, just being that slimy, despicable heel. And I also think he's a solid worker, too, when he wants to be. Obviously not a lot of people are going to be, talking about Kanemaru just because, he's just Suzuki-gun kind of tag guy. But this guy's really good at what he does.
Yeah, right. I don't see him. I think he's been very successful, like in Noah and in Old Japan, but I think he was never really involved that much with New Japan. And by the time he did come along, he's sort of like slowing down a bit. But he's definitely good enough to be a tag guy. But I do not see him winning the junior heavyweight title anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't see that either. But I definitely think in these tournaments, like he does have a role, and he might not be having a match of the night, and he's probably not going to be getting a title shot anytime soon. But he's good at kind of being that sleazy heel, that guy that's going to be pulling out all the tricks, the whiskey, using young boys, roll ups, kind of rep distractions. He's gonna find a way to beat you, and then when it's time for him to go, he can go, and he has had a couple great matches in this tournament. So I actually have been pretty impressed with him so far in this tournament.
Yeah, I've been impressed. It's just that the results haven't really went his way, really, which is fair enough, really.
Yeah, definitely one of those guys. He's going to be a spoiler, but at the same time, he himself is not going to rack up a bunch of points.
Yeah, definitely.
Then last but not least, we got his Suzuki-gun stablemate, Taka Michinoku, who has 0 points, who is 0-7. And due to a leg injury, he is out for the rest of the tournament. So the last 2 opponents that he will be facing will be getting automatic 2 points due to forfeit. Night 7, he lost to Taiji, got that 2.5. Night 8, he lost to Teton, got that 2.75. Night 9, he lost to Shingo, got it at 3 stars, and then night 10 is where he was injured, so Dragon Lee got the win by forfeit there. What have you been thinking about Taka?
Taka, he's sort of another one. He was definitely put into this tournament to take losses and put people over, and it is a shame that he had to pull out with the injury, because I don't think he was gonna end the tournament with no wins. I think he maybe would have had one win at least, but unfortunately he's suffered that injury. So yeah, it's a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, I've also been impressed with Taka too. I feel like normally we see Taka as a manager, or he'll be in multi-man matches and not really do a whole lot. But I thought he has been doing really good in this tournament, and I think for him, I think a lot of his matches were opening matches and were really short. I feel like if he had some longer matches, they might even be better than what they were. But I thought he was looking good, especially in that Taiji Ishimori match. They did a lot of grappling there. The Shingo match, I felt like he was just trying to throw everything at Shingo as quickly as he could to try and get the win. And I believe that's the match where he hit a golden triangle moonsault, which caused the leg injury.
Yeah, that was a shock. It's a move I didn't expect him to pull off, and clearly maybe a move he shouldn't have pulled off, because now he's injured. And with that, I've been thinking for a while, will we see Taka in another Best of the Super Junior tournament? I'm not certain at all.
Yeah, this might end up being his last Best of the Super Junior. But if it is, I think he went out well. Obviously it kind of sinks that he went out with an injury. But in the matches he had, I thought he looked really good. And like I mentioned, the Shingo match, he was using all the heel tactics he could and was trying to take advantage of Shingo, but eventually, Shingo just mowed him down. But, when he pulled out that golden triangle, I was like, what is he doing? That was the last thing I expected to see Taka do. But once I saw him land, how he landed on his foot, I was like, oh, man, that didn't look well. And then, turns out that he's now out for the rest of the tournament.
Yeah, that's a shame for him to go out that way, but he is... he's not. There's no plans for him to, challenge for the junior title anytime soon. You could put him in a tag title match occasionally, but for now, I think he's trying to stick to just being Zach's manager, really.
Yeah. So overall, not too bad a run here for Taka. All right, so now we're going to be moving on to the B block, and the man that's currently on top of the B block is El Phantasmo, ELP. He has 5 wins, 2 losses with 10 points. On night 7, ELP defeated Ospreay. I got that at 4 1/4. Night 8, ELP defeated Narita. I got that at 3 stars. On night 9, Rocky defeated ELP. Got that at 4.5. And then on night 10, Yo has defeated ELP with I give that 3 stars. So what do you been thinking about El Phantasmo?
I am definitely a big fan. I've watched him in Rev Pro before, and I think, unlike Josh, who seems to not be a big fan of him, I am a big fan.
Yeah, I did not really seen much of him. I've heard about him and seen some clips from Rev Pro, but I've never really saw anything like a full match until he came to New Japan this year. And that tag match with him and Taichi against Dragon Lee and Ospreay, that was pretty much my first full Phantasmo match, and I was completely impressed with him and that match. And then this whole tournament, I think he's been great. He has so much charisma, and they're doing this great job of just making him this just sleazy douchebag jerk that you just want to punch in the face and see him fail. And he's just so cocky and so over the top. I think he's been doing some great character work here. Like I said last week, I get some Prince Devitt vibes from him, and Chris Charlton agreed with me there on commentary, just kind of talking about the similarities between ELP and Prince Devitt. Honestly, the way that he's been building him and the way that he's gotten over, if Jay White were to leave the Bullet Club, I could see El Phantasmo being the leader.
Yeah, you could. I could see that, though. It'll have to wait and see. I don't think Jay White's leaving anytime soon, but with who knows what could happen in wrestling. I think when I first saw the vignette of him of him joining the Bullet Club, I thought it was a bit of a weird choice because he is a babyface in Rev Pro, but by God, he's made me hate him with this heel persona he's been doing during this tour.
Yeah, night 7, he had the big match with Will Ospreay in the main event. It was a very important match here in this block. I thought it was a great main event. There was so much energy from the crowd from this match. ELP was kind of attacking the neck. Obviously, Ospreay's had a history of neck injuries, and Phantasmo focused his attack on the neck, and we had a great closing stretch of a lot of counters and near falls. We did have towards the end the ref bump, and he ends up hitting a low blow, cradled Ospreay, eventually hit the cutter and hit the CR2. I probably would have went a little bit higher on this match if it wasn't for the screwy finish.
Yeah. So I got distracted there a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely been pulling off these similar heel tactics to Jay White with the ref distractions, and I did love the spot where in his match with Rocky where they did the Eddie Guerrero spot with the title, and that was definitely fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean that whole Rocky Romero match was just fantastic. That was the main event of the main event of night 9. And people might be like, what is Rocky doing in the main event? Oh, he's probably going to lose. But this match was really, really great, and they told this story of Rocky as the aging veteran who trying to have one more great Best of Super Junior run, and kind of proving to the world that he can still go. A lot of people doubting Rocky. Why is Rocky in this tournament? And so he's kind of fighting for his pride here. And, Rocky, they did a great job in this match of getting sympathy on Rocky, getting heat on ELP. And, throughout the whole match, Rocky was working the arm. And then, of course, you had all the ref kind of bump shenanigans towards the end. But eventually, Rocky was able to lock in that arm bar, and El Phantasmo tapped out.
Yeah, that was a brilliant match. And of course, we'll get to Rocky soon enough, but that was a great match. Great match without doubt. Probably one of Rocky's best singles matches he's had in a long time.
Yeah, and they were also teasing a time limit draw here. The match ended up being 28 minutes and 50 seconds. So yeah, they were teasing this could end up 30-minute draw, but eventually Rocky was able to tap him out. This is the first time that Rocky was in the main event in Cork and Hall. So this was a really big moment for him. Crowd was red hot behind Romero. Rocky was pretty much doing whatever he could to kind of win. And like you mentioned, they had the Eddie Guerrero spot, which was cool. And just a lot of great stuff. They did have some, shenanigans with the ref bump and some low blows and stuff, but I thought it played into the story of this match better than it did in the Ospreay match. So yeah, Rocky gets a big win. We have Sho and Yo coming down to celebrate with him, and he gets to cut the closing promo and picked up a big upset win on the guy on top of the block.
Yeah, definitely. And definitely a big win for Rocky, and it made ELP shows off more of his heel character without a doubt.
Right, and then that kind of led into night 10 where ELP is facing Yo, and not quite as cocky as he's been. He seemed to be very frustrated and a little bit more focused in on Yo, but then as the match kind of played out, he started getting a little bit more cocky and kind of overlooking Yo, and Yo was able to pull a fast one on him there and get the win. So ELP taking 2 surprising losses back to back.
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, he had to. I think he had to lose at some point, without a doubt. And I think it kind of makes sense. Him and yeah, these are two guys he lost it. Will definitely help elevate them and could potentially lead to a Rev Pro British Cruiserweight title match down the line.
Right, and they have had history. Well, ELP and Rocky have had history in Rev Pro for the British Cruiserweight Championship. I believe they've had like 2 or 3 matches in Rev Pro, and Phantasmo beat Rocky in the British J Cup and also in a title match. And so we know that Rev Pro uses a lot of New Japan guys, so we could be seeing Phantasmo defend that British Cruiserweight title against Rocky and Yo in future shows in Rev Pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Will be cool to see those matches happen at Rev Pro, without a doubt.
Then we had a question here from Reddit user Rambone Slam Pig. He says, "Have your thoughts on El Phantasmo changed as the tournament has progressed? Did the matches of Ospreay and Rocky answer some of the criticism about him?" So I feel like this question probably was targeted more towards Josh, because I've been loving Phantasmo. And last week I said on the show, I feel like this week in Corkin Hall was going to be kind of the big test for him, having 2 main event matchups and just kind of seeing how the Corkin crowd would react to him. And the Corkin crowd loved him. This guy was a star, man. You talk about, the light up jacket entrance. He's taking people's hats and throwing them, and they're so into. People laugh when they get their hat thrown and are so into it. And he just came off as a megastar in Corkin Hall, and then he had those incredible main events with Rocky and Ospreay, and just really established himself.
Yeah, definitely. He probably has proven many critics wrong. I loved during the first couple of nights where he was just, basically flipping off kids pretty much.
Yeah. We have a question here from Twitter user @TweeterAintShit. He says, "Do you guys think El Phantasmo will be to Bullet Club what Jay White was to Chaos?"
I don't think so, really. I mean, I'm not. At first I thought as I said, at first I thought Phantasmo doesn't really fit in Bullet Club because he's a babyface, but he's certainly proven that he can play a heel. So I'm not sure if he's really gonna be similar to what Jay White is to Chaos was when he was in Chaos.
Well, I think what he's pointing to is just some of the stuff that happened with Robbie Eagles, who's actually the next guy we're going to be talking about. So let's talk about Eagles. And I think that question is going to kind of play in here to what happened between these two guys. So Robbie Eagles is also 5-2 with 10 points on night 7. He defeated Taguchi. I got that 3.5 stars. On night 8, he lost to Bushi, got that at 3.25. Night 9, he defeated Doki, got that at 3.25. And night 10, he defeated Will Ospreay. What have you been thinking about Eagles?
Eagles has been very good. He's gone a lot more points than I expected him to, and he's certainly been he's been good. He's been usually gained that that roundabout 3.5 to 4 star range, which is always good to have. And he's having a definite breakout tournament. Well, it's his first tournament, so
yeah, definitely. He came into the Super Junior Tag League tournament. It was just kind of fine, and he's been kind of just fine in all the other matches he's had in New Japan. But he is really breaking out in this tournament, and he's been having a lot of great matches, a lot of good performances here. And definitely the highlight was night 10 here, where he defeated Will Ospreay in the main event. They had a great matchup here. There's a lot of history between Ospreay and Robbie Eagles. They had matches together in Australia. And you know how Ospreay used to wear like the little flags around his tights? Well, he ripped off like the Japan flag and gave it to Eagles, pretty much saying, you know, eventually I think you're good enough to be in New Japan. So at the beginning of the match, Eagles like handed that flag back to Ospreay. Ospreay tucked it away in the boot. But, you know, they had a great back and forth matchup here. And towards the end, we had El Phantasmo coming out, and he wasn't really just out here to support Robbie Eagles. He was out here to try to ensure that Will Ospreay lost, because at this point, so Phantasmo has beaten Ospreay. So if those guys tie at the end, Phantasmo has a tiebreaker over Ospreay. So he needed to make sure that Ospreay had the same record as him. And that was his intention here, to make sure that Robbie Eagles won this match. So he came out towards the end of this match here, distracted Ospreay. He went for a shooting star, but he got knees by Eagles. Eagles gets a near fall. Then we get a ref bump. Red Shoes is down. Ospreay goes for the Oz Cutter, but Phantasmo hits him right in the knee with a chair, the leg that Eagles was working over the whole match. And then you can kind of see the breakdown here. And I think this is what at Tweeter Ain't Shit was kind of getting to. You can kind of see Robbie Eagles not being happy that Phantasmo did that. But eventually, you know, he hits the 450 on the knee, follows up with the Ron Miller special, and then Ospreay has to tap out here. So, yeah, we've been kind of seeing this interesting relationship between Phantasmo and Eagles. You know, they had their matchup against each other last week, in which, you know, ELP just went all out and cheated and wrestled dirty and beat his friend there. And then here we see him, you know, helping Eagles, not just to make sure Eagles won, but to make sure he's in a better position in the tournament. So I think we're kind of seeing this dynamic, like, is ELP kind of like too much of a heel for Bullet Club?
I'm curious to see if this does go anywhere. I think overall, I think the reason why Eagles was pissed is because he has, you know, history with Ospreay, which is the main reason he's pissed. So have to wait and see if anything does become of this.
Yeah, we had a question here from Reddit user Mookie1515. Where do you think they're taking Robbie Eagles? It seems to be that they are building him to break from Bullet Club, and he's definitely shining a lot more than he did in the Tag League last year. Is he being set up for a singles run, possibly as a face?
You could do that. I feel it's a bit too soon to be pulling this, considering he literally just debuted near the end of 2018. So it could something that could linger on for a while and then could lead to this, lead to him getting pushed. I think no matter what, Eagles is someone who could easily get a push and could be a future, have a singles run.
Yeah, definitely. I feel he does kind of come off very well as a face, especially if you look back to like the El Phantasmo match that he had. He was clearly the face in that match. And I feel like with the style he wrestles, I think he would do very well as a babyface and kind of break off from Bullet Club, especially now with Phantasmo in Bullet Club and the way that they've pushed Phantasmo. That kind of makes Eagle like the third Bullet Club Junior. And so if you want him to break out, I think he eventually kind of has to get out of Bullet Club to break out and go singles. Then we had a question from Twitter user at JazzKeegan13. Says, if Robbie Eagles seemingly on his way to a face turn, could he be a regular player in the junior heavyweight title scene?
Yeah, I could definitely see him being a player in that title scene. I think Australia is a place that I think New Japan clearly want to, you know, invest in a little bit, and they're looking to do that via Robbie Eagles. Eagles, so it would make sense for him to pick up possibly win the junior heavyweight title, and that could lead to maybe more partnerships with Australian promotions in the future.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. We see what we got the Southern Showdown tour coming up. Australia's definitely that whole area there, New Zealand, they definitely want to kind of make that one of their quote unquote territories and somewhere they tour consistently. So you need, a star from that country to help draw tickets. And so I think Eagles is a perfect guy to do it with. And I definitely can see him, getting some more tours in New Japan after his performances in this tournament, whether he stays with Bullet Club or not. But I think the money is with him as a babyface.
Yeah, definitely. I think he will work as a babyface, but for now, I think he'll probably will stick with Bullet Club.
Yeah, I have been hearing that the Robbie Eagles Bullet Club T-shirts are like selling the most currently right now out of all the Bullet Club shirts.
Really? Wow. Then I think I remember hearing that on Reddit that his shirts are definitely getting popular, which is a sign to say that he'll most likely will for a while stick with Bullet Club.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of leave that Bullet Club money, but yeah, he's a good looking guy. The girls like him. I think eventually he could be a babyface, but yeah, kind of with the whole Bullet Club thing, maybe there is him there a little bit longer. Maybe they kind of do. Maybe it's kind of a slow build, and maybe eventually we'll get maybe like a bigger ELP Eagles match on a bigger show kind of thing with him breaking off.
Yeah, definitely.
So next up, also with 10 points, is Ryusuke Taguchi, 5 wins, 2 losses. On night 7, he lost to Robbie Eagles. On night 8, he defeated Rocky Romero. I got both of those at 3.5. On night 9, he lost to Bandito. I got that at 3.5. And then on night 10, he defeated Ren Narita, and I got that at 3 stars. What have been your thoughts on the coach, Taguchi?
Taguchi's been good. He's had a very hot start. He had a very hot start with 3 main events in a row for him, and he's sort of slowing down a little. He has slowing down a little bit in a way, but he's still, definitely one of those guys who could potentially still win this tournament. Of course, I think he still has his. I'm trying to remember. He hasn't faced ELP yet.
Right, he hasn't faced ELP or Ospreay yet.
Yeah, so he's sort of the third man in that could potentially reach the finals if he wins both his matches.
Right, he has a really good shot, especially facing 2 guys he's tied with right now to get into the finals. And, I'm sure if Josh was here, he'd be taking a victory lap, because at the beginning he did mention that, Taguchi would be in the mix and potentially be somebody that could be a player to go into the finals. So yeah, being he's tied with Eagles, ELP, and Ospreay. So yeah, if he can beat Ospreay and ELP, that would be his way of walking into the finals.
Yeah, definitely. He's a guy that, even though he's been sort of, a comedy goof, he is someone who I think he can still go and be one of those, one of the Japanese fan favorite that I think he could probably win the junior title one more time if they plan on doing that.
Yeah, he's been very good in this tournament. He's kind of been in that like 3.5, 4-star range this whole tournament, and just been having some very good, entertaining matches. And I know a lot of people don't really like the whole Taguchi, stick in the whole, hip attack routine. But when he wants to, man, he can be, he's a solid worker and can really go. We talk about big match Taguchi all the time. Well, we've gotten a lot of that in this tournament. And yes, there has been some comedy, but he's still been having some very good matches.
Yeah, he has. He's been very impressive. As we all know, and when it comes to Best of Super Juniors, you can get serious Taguchi, and he's certainly been showing that, but also mixing in a bit of the comedy Taguchi that people either love or hate.
Yeah. Night 8 against Rocky, they kind of had the coach versus coach match, and of course, Taguchi came out with the rugby gear and the rugby ball, and Rocky comes out in a basketball jersey and has a basketball. Then they kind of start playing basketball in the ring, and Taguchi decides he has a bright idea that he'll be the basketball hoop and tells Rocky to try and make a basket. Basketball ends up hitting Taguchi. He falls off the turnbuckle. Rocky gets the basketball back and does like a diving splash pretty much, and like dunks the ball off of Taguchi.
Jesus. Yeah, that was funny. Though when I first saw it, I thought he was going to do something like he would attempt a slam dunk, but sort of like, pull Taguchi off the top rope or something like that. But what they did instead was much more funny, in my opinion.
Yeah, so that was a good little, funny match, and it was the battle of the coaches, and of course Taguchi ended up getting the win there. But at the end, they kind of shook hands and did the Team Taguchi Japan pose. So once again, we're kind of seeing the blending of Chaos guys and Sekigun guys and Taguchi Japan guys.
Yeah, definitely.
So next up, we have the aerial assassin Will Ospreay, who's also with 5 wins and 2 losses, 10 points. Night 7, he lost to ELP, got that 4 1/4 stars. Night 8, he defeated Bandito. I have this at 4.75. This is my favorite match of the tournament. I think it's the best match of the tournament. Night 9, he defeated Ren Narita. I got that at 3.75. And then on night 10, he lost to Robbie Eagles, and I got that at 4 1/4. What have you been thinking about Ospreay?
Ospreay, of course, he's been absolutely brilliant. That match with Bandito, definitely in contenders for being one of the matches of the tournaments. I still think Shingo shows the better match, but this one, it nearly made me change my mind without a doubt.
Yeah, man, this Bandito Ospreay, I got a chance to see them wrestle each other live in New York at the WrestleCon Super Show, and that was fire. But this match was just great. I was losing my mind in the dojo watching this match. It's the stuff they were doing. Bandito, he hasn't been looking the best in this tournament, but this match totally changed everything up. It was just amazing what they were doing in there, and just must-see action. And this match was better than the WrestleCon match. It's a match like everything clicked between both of these guys. The crowd was red hot. Action was great. High pace, ton of drama. Great closing stretch. Throughout this whole match, you're questioning whether Ospreay or Bandito would get the win here. And yeah, I definitely think for me, it's my match of the tournament. And I know a lot of people think that Shingo and Dragon Lee was better. I know a lot of people think Shingo and Sho was better. But for me, I got this at 4.75.
Yeah, it is definitely a good match. I think the differences between Shingo Sho and Ospreay Bandito is the styles. I think Shingo Sho's more strong style, while Ospreay Bandito was more your typical junior heavyweight match with all the flips.
Yes, all the flips. This was a Rich Latta special right here. But yeah, dude, just the stuff that they were doing in this match was just absolutely bonkers. If you have not seen Will Ospreay versus Bandito. After you're done listening to this podcast, you need to watch that match. It's insane. And yeah, just absolutely phenomenal matchup.
Yeah, definitely.
So next up, we have Bushi with 4 wins, 3 losses. He has 8 points. On night 7, Bushi defeated Doki. On night 8, he defeated Robbie Eagles. On night 9, he defeated Yo. And on night 10, he defeated Bandito. Bandito match, I got 3.5. The Yo match, I got 3. The Eagles match, I got 3.25. And the Doki match, I got 2.75. What do you been thinking about Bushi here?
Bushi is someone I think I'm in the minority here where I actually like Bushi. I think there's clearly something there. The Japanese fans absolutely love him. I don't think there's not been a show where I haven't seen someone in a Bushi mask. And I think he's definitely had a slow start at the start of the tournament, but he's been on fire. He's not had any great matches. In my view, his best match was, as you said, the one with Bandito, but he has had a good 4 nights.
Yeah, definitely had a good little week here, picking up 4 wins. And, we talked about Tiger Mask earlier, where Tiger Mask is usually a guy that picks up a lot of steam in the beginning and then fades out towards the end. Well, Bushi is the opposite. And if you look at Bushi's tournament records, he usually loses his first 3 or 4 matches and then picks up steam at the end and gets, 4 or 3 wins in a row. And that's exactly what we've seen here with Bushi. Started off slow, had 3 losses in the beginning, and now back to back here, just picked up 4 wins. And like you mentioned, nothing stand out or, completely great about his matches. He's been having, he's had some very good matches. Obviously, the Bandito match, I think, one of the better matches that he's had in the tournament thus far. And, with him getting a win over Robbie Eagles, he's actually still has some potential of possibly winning the block. It's very unlikely that it would happen. But there are situations if certain people lose within the next 2 B block nights and he keeps winning, that he could potentially win the block. But I find it very highly unlikely that that's going to happen.
Yeah, as much as I like Bushi, I don't see him winning the block. He's sort of, since bringing in Hiromu and Shingo to LIJ, Bushi is now pretty much just, he is technically the fall guy for LIJ, but he's just sort of, the extra man, and he's just been, I can see him still challenging occasionally for the junior title, junior tag, but for now I think he's happy where he is right now, just being sort of in the mid card, really.
Yeah. So also at 6 points, tied with Bushi is Yo. Tied with 8 points is Yo with 4 wins and 3 losses. So on night 7, Yo defeated Rocky Romero. I got that at 3.5 stars. On night 8, Yo defeated Doki. I got that at 3 stars. On night 9, he lost to Bushi. I got that at 3 stars. And then at night 10, he had that big upset win over ELP, and I got that at 3 stars. What have you been thinking about Yo?
Yo has certainly, it's similar to Sho. This has been a bit of a breakout. He had, at the start, he had that brilliant match with Taguchi, and then he had that great match with Ospreay. He has sort of slowed down a bit, but he's been picking up wins, which is the main thing, and he's definitely showing that he's more than just the Marty Jannetty of Roppongi 3K.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's been having some very good matches and picking up some surprising wins. And, it's very interesting the way that they book Sho and Yo. Last year they both ended up the same amount of points, and right now Yo has a little bit more points than Sho, but I'm pretty sure they'll probably end with the same amount of points. And it's very interesting, even though, a lot of people talk about Sho and how great Sho is and he's going to be a future junior ace. New Japan has consistently kind of booked them on kind of even playing fields and kind of sees them at the same level.
Definitely. Even though right now Yo has more points than Sho, I think that won't be. I think they'll finish equal again, and then they'll continue the usual stuff with the helping the junior tag division.
Yeah. Yo, he's had some good performances this week, kind of in that 3.5 star range. The best match that he had this week was on that Night 7 match with Rocky Romero.
Yeah.
And also there is, with him also being at 4-3, like Bushi, there is a very rare chance that Yo could win the B block. He has that big upset win over ELP, which would help him. So he would really need, guys like ELP and Ospreay and Bushi to lose their upcoming matches in the last 2 nights for him to have any chance of potentially getting into the B block finals. But it's a very, very rare chance of that happening.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Especially because, with Ospreay, I think his last 2 matches are with Doki and
Taguchi.
Yeah, Taguchi. So, that Ospreay-Taguchi match is going to be one that, I don't expect Doki to beat Ospreay. But, I know we kind of passed Ospreay. There's one thing I kind of wanted to ask you. Are you kind of surprised that Ospreay has taken 2 losses in this tournament?
I don't think so, really. I don't think they want to have in the both blocks 2 guys that sort of steamroll the competition, steamroll through the block. So I guess it makes sense. It's the 2 losses he's taken are to 2 guys has come feuds with Phantasmo and Eagle. So I guess it does make sense for that to happen, really. So I'm not really surprised that he has taken losses.
Yeah, at first I was kind of a little surprised just because, coming into this tournament, he'd beaten so many heavyweights, and there's a lot of rumors about him going in the G1. And initially my mindset was, well, if he's a heavyweight now, he can't be losing to juniors. But, clearly he's still in that kind of in between junior and heavyweight. And I think that they're using him now to put over guys that they want to kind of be the new stars of the junior division. So I feel like the loss to ELP and to Robbie Eagles definitely helped establish both of those guys. And it's kind of letting the fans know, like, hey, ELP and Eagles are going to be kind of the players in the junior division once Ospreay makes the full transition to heavyweight.
Yeah, I think so. I'm still trying to think. I'm trying to think whether he will fully transition to heavyweight or whether he will stick to this role where he's sort of in between. But I think the most likely thing is he'll be going heavyweight.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what they do. Like if he kind of stays like an open weight kind of wrestler. I know a lot of people are clamoring for him to be in the G1 Climax this year. There's a lot of rumors that he will be in the tournament. I hope he is. But, nothing's 100% sure. Based off last year's participants, we got about, I believe 4 or 5 empty spots. Obviously with guys like Kenny and Hangman not being in it anymore. And, Tama Tonga, he has a booking that's during the tournament, so he's not going to be in it this year. Michael Elgin is not going to be in it. So there is some room to kind of bring in some new blood into this tournament, and I think we saw what Ospreay could do in the New Japan Cup. So having him in the G1 would be incredible. And I think that would help really cement him as being the top candidate to win New Japan Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a breakout. It's been a great year for him, and we've said that for quite a long time, really.
Yeah. Okay, so back onto the rankings here. Next up, we have Bandito with 3 wins and 4 losses at 6 points. On night 7, Bandito defeated Ren Narita. I rated that 3.25. On night 8, we talked about that incredible match with Will Ospreay. Got that at 4.75. On night 9, he defeated Taguchi. I got that at 3.5. And night 10, he lost to Bushi. I got that at 3.5. What are your overall thoughts been about Bandito?
In terms of points-wise, it's been a bit disappointing because I did have Bandito up near the top. In my predictions, it was between him, Phantasmo, and Ospreay for A block, but he's not really been picking up that many wins. But in terms of match quality, he's been as good as I expected.
I've kind of been, outside of the Ospreay match, I've kind of been a little bit disappointed in match quality from Bandito. I just don't know what it is. Maybe it's taking him a while to kind of click, but I feel like in the beginning of the tournament, he wasn't really having. I was kind of expecting him to have some blowaway matches every night, but that hasn't really been the case. He's kind of been sitting in that like 3.25, 3.5 star range, and really didn't do anything wild until the Ospreay match. And we've hyped up Bandito here on this show just based off what we've seen on him live and in some other promotions, and I don't think he's kind of lived up to the hype the way that we were hyping him up until the Ospreay match. And also disappointed from a kind of a point perspective, just like you, because with Ambrose Bandito being such a big star in the States now and kind of a top spot with Ring of Honor, I was kind of expecting him to be a little bit better in the points, maybe kind of be where like Yo and Bushi are right now with like 8 points or maybe even 10, but not quite the case.
Yeah, definitely, which is a shame, but we need to remember he is young. It's his first best as a Super Juniors, and I don't think it will be his last.
Right, and I think part of it too might just be some of the guys he was matched up with. I don't know if there was a language barrier or just not used to the style in New Japan. But I still think he can close out having a pretty good tournament. The Ospreay match being the highlight, and I definitely think we'll see him again next year as long as he's still under Ring of Honor contract. I'm not sure how long how many years he's signed on with Ring of Honor, because I know he's the guy that AEW wanted, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see him in AEW in the future.
Yeah, good. It would be a great addition to AEW.
Next up, we got Rocky Romero with 3 wins, 4 losses at 6 points. On night 7, he lost to Robbie Eagles, got that at 3.5. On night 8, he lost to Taguchi, got that 3.5. On night 9, he defeated ELP. I got that at 4.5. And then on night 10, he defeated Doki. I got that at 3 stars. What have you been thinking about Mr. Roppongi 3K man here, Rocky?
Rocky has been very surprising. When he was first announced for the tournament, I thought, okay, this is someone who hasn't been in the tournament in a while. He'll most likely be there to tape pinfalls, which he has sort of done, but he has had some brilliant matches. We mentioned the match of ELP was, in my view, probably one of his best singles matches he's had in New Japan, and he's exceeded all my expectations so far.
Yeah, that ELP match really blew me away, and I thought, yeah, that was an excellent matchup. Definitely the best match that I saw from Rocky in New Japan, outside of like his junior tag stuff with like Roppongi Vice and the Hooligans and stuff like that. But yeah, like you, when Rocky was first announced to this tournament, I wasn't really expecting too much from him. And I was kind of expecting him to kind of be there, have some good little matches, be a pin eater. But he's really been a player in this tournament, and they've been telling this whole story of him kind of being that veteran that wants, one more run and kind of prove the naysayers wrong. And that's exactly what he's been doing.
Yeah, he's definitely proven everyone wrong. And I think he's clearly not in the. He's not going to be able to make it to the finals, but he has definitely given himself a good enough showing to the point where I think I'd be happy to have him in the tournament next year.
Right. And I mean, he still does have a potential of ending with 10 points. We've got 2 more matches left. He's at 6, so he could win. He could win 2 more matches. Like you said, it's not going to get him to the finals, but he could still end this thing with 10 points, which looks pretty good at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next up, we got Doki with 1 win, 6 losses, 2 points. Night 7, he lost to Bushi. I got that 275. Night 8, he lost to Yo. I got that 3 stars. On night 9, he lost to Robbie Eagles. I got that 3 1/4. And then on night 10, he lost to Rocky. I got that 3 stars. What have you been thinking about Doki?
Oh dear. I mean, one of my favorite juniors is Desperados. So when I heard he was injured, I was absolutely gutted. So I heard about this Doki. I thought, who is this guy? This guy, and then I thought, okay, this is someone who hopefully will do okay, maybe get a decent match, but it's not looked good.
Yeah, this past week, I think he's been better and he's been fine. He's been having some average matches. Again, really nothing blow away, but he was really consistent this week. And the best match he had this week was the Robbie Eagles match on night 9. But this week, I don't feel like he's done anything that was really too bad. I feel like he's just having some good little matches, nothing out of this world, but, definitely a guy that I just don't think he belongs in the best of Super Juniors. I understand it was a last-minute replacement. He was the only guy that they could probably find at the time that was in Japan that would, be willing to kind of do business and get on this big platform. So I get why they went with him, but like he just comes off as another Jag to me. So.
Yeah, they should have booked John Jervis for the best of Super Juniors.
Yeah, I would have flown over to Japan.
Only beat Ren Narita, and then that's it.
Yeah.
You take it.
Yeah, they should have made a call to Uncle Paul and see if we can get Kushida or ACH back.
Yeah, or maybe even... Yeah. Probably should. But I made a call to Noah. Noah, say, can we borrow Minoru Tanaka, please?
Oh yeah. Heck, they should have just let Caprice Coleman get in there.
Oh, is he even a junior? I don't even know.
I don't think he would be considered a junior, but I would have much rather see Caprice wrestle than Doki. But
yeah, it's a shame for Doki. It is a shame that he's sort of. I guess you could say it's, this is the first big promotion he's ever been in. So I guess you could say it's a bit of, it's stage fright in a way. But I think with this, would you care to see him at all in the future in New Japan at all?
Honestly, not really, unless he has some dramatic improvement. I feel like he just has that kind of underground indie style that he's just kind of like this kind of grimy kind of indie wrestler guy that I just can't really see him excelling in New Japan. He could always just be a fall guy in Suzuki-gun, I guess, but the way that he currently wrestles, I don't think lives up to the New Japan standard.
Yeah, I think I think if Desperado gets bet, heals up in time, we could have a Desperado and Dookie team in Junior Tag League at a chance. But apart from that, I don't see Dookie really doing much in New Japan in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I would much rather just Desperado and Kanemaru in a Junior Tag League than seeing him team with Doki.
Well, there's always Taka.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Taka get a run with a teammate there. If he's healed in time.
Yeah, definitely. But that's been a shame that Doki's been a disappointment, but not much he can do now, really.
Yeah, it's like what's done is done. He's got 2 more matches, and he'll be out of our lives, hopefully for the foreseeing future.
I'm trying to think here. Do you see him picking up any of those 2 wins? I know one of it. He's got Ospreay and Phantasmo. I'm having this horrible feeling he might beat Ospreay. I don't know why though.
I think he might beat Phantasmo. I think because I still think it's going to be Ospreay and Shingo in the finals, and so in order for Ospreay to win, Phantasmo is going to have to lose one more, and so I think he's going to lose to Doki on that last night.
I could see. I really hope they don't do this, but I think they could have Doki beat both of them. So if he beats Ospreay, then Ospreay has to win his match against Taguchi, and then Doki, in a way, sort of helps him by being Phantasmo. But yeah, it doesn't look good for Ospreay if he loses to this Jag.
Right. I mean, it doesn't really look good to anybody. Like I kind of cringe when I think about him beating ELP. It's the way that he's been pushing the superstar they've made him. But yeah. I mean, that's the only because who does ELP face on the second to last night?
Second to last ELP. Who's ELP facing? I think he's facing Narita. I think it's Taguchi.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, Taguchi hasn't faced either Ospreay or ELP.
Yeah. So two big matches for Taguchi to try and win. So
yeah. So, yeah, a lot of interesting scenarios that could play out this coming up week with these B block matches.
Yeah.
And then last place in the B block, we have Young Lion Ren Narita, 0-7, 0 points. On night 7, he lost to Bandito, got that 3 1/4. Night 8, he lost to ELP, got that at 3 stars. On night 9, he lost to Ospreay, got that at 3.75. And on night 10, he lost to Taguchi. And we got not really a question, but kind of a comment here from Reddit user Rambone Slam Pig. He says, not a question, just wanted to comment that Ren Narita has done a great job in the tournament. I don't think I could be more invested in his progress, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Do you kind of share that same thoughts about Narita?
Yeah, he's definitely had some good matches. I think his match with Ospreay is, in my view, his best match of the tournament so far. So best match of the tournament, and he's definitely shown he has a bright future. My question is, do you see him going on excursion straight after Best of the Super Juniors?
I don't know if it will be straight after, but I mean, if I were New Japan, I think I would, and I would try and get him on excursion as soon as possible. Just the experience that he's getting in this tournament and the great matches that he's had in this tournament. I mean, that Ospreay match was really great. Young Lions don't always get a chance to have those kind of matches, and I think he's proved that he's ready to be on the kind of the main roster and be having matches with these guys, full time. And so if I were them, I send him on an excursion as soon as possibly can, and get him primed and ready to come back and get in the mix.
Yeah, definitely. He's got a bright future. That is for certain.
Yeah, and I thought that Ospreay was so generous with him in their matchup, giving him a lot of offense. And, there's a lot of great near falls towards the end of that match. And the Corkin crowd was just really buying into the fact of Narita possibly picking up an upset. And they really wanted to see him get that upset win. And he just looked really great in this match and this whole tournament. And I just been loving what they've been doing in his matches, where he kind of hits the belly to belly, but he fails to get the bridge, so he doesn't get the win. If he got the bridge, he would get the win. He's hitting all these beautiful suplexes out of nowhere, but not able to top it off with the bridge.
Yeah, definitely, without a doubt.
So that wraps up kind of all the competitors here. We have a question here from a Twitter follower at @calf_67. She wants to know, who would you consider the MVP from the specific night? So night 7 to 10 each night, who would the MVP be?
I think the MVP is Will Ospreay, without a doubt.
I think she means like each individual night. So
each individual night.
Yeah, so like night 7.
Night 7. If I'm looking at it from star point rating, I think it's Will Ospreay. It's probably either Will Ospreay or El Phantasmo for night 7.
Yeah, I think you can kind of tie Phantasmo and Ospreay on night 7. Let's look at night 8. Let's see. For
night 8, I think Ospreay Bandito.
Oh yeah, that's the Ospreay Bandito match. But there's also Shingo and Dragon Lee. That's very hard to pick just one guy there. Yeah, personally for me, I would probably kind of go with a tie of Ospreay Bandito. But depending on which match you like better, you could also kind of go with Shingo.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And then night 9, I think Rocky Romero. That's the MVP of night 9.
Yeah, definitely.
And then night 10.
I think I say Show.
Yeah, probably Show.
Yeah.
But yeah, MVP overall, I think it's Will Ospreay's probably a great selection. He's been having incredible matchups and it's been looking great this whole tournament. But yeah, we will come up with an MVP of the whole tournament once it's all said and done. Then we have a question here from the Facebook group from Dan Coffin. He wants to know, what has been your favorite night so far?
It's a tough job. I'm thinking best match of the night was probably let's see. I'm thinking night 8.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. Night 8 was definitely my favorite night out of all these nights. You had the Shingo Dragon Lee main event. You had the Ospreay Bandito match. You had the Show Skrull match, and then the Bushi Robbie Eagles match. I mean, everything else was good under those 3 kind of big matches there. But then the Cork and Hall crowd was just great this whole week and really great that night. And yeah, the Cork and Hall crowd had me energized.
Yes, same here. I think if there was any night that was close to being that, I'd say it was probably night 1.
Yeah.
1 with that Shingo Show and Ishimori Dragon Lee match. But I think night 8 had the advantage due to having nothing but block matches.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people thought it might be kind of daunting to have these, full block shows, but I thought they've just been incredible. And it's just been really great. I mean, it can be great if you pace it out well. All the matches weren't super long. The important matches were, and they still had some very good matches that were, the 10-minute range. And these were great shows. Really easy watches. I feel like the undercard matches kind of blew by, and then you got to the main event matches, and you were just kind of blown away.
Yeah, definitely. Without a doubt.
Yeah, so we only have a few more nights of the tournament left. So on May 29th, on Wednesday, things will pick back up with A block action. It'll be Sho versus Teton, Tiger Mask versus Taiji Ishimori, Jonathan Gresham versus Shingo, and Dragon Lee versus Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And then after that, we got May 30th. And on that night, we got B block action. We'll have Yo taking on Ren Narita, Bandito taking on Robbie Eagles, Rocky Romero taking on Bushi, Ospreay taking on Doki, and Taguchi taking on El Phantasmo. Then we have Friday, May 31st, and this will be the A block finals. And we will have Tiger Mask versus Teton, Dragon Lee versus Marty Scurll, Sho versus Jonathan Gresham, and the big Shingo Takagi versus Taiji Ishimori match. That's going to help determine who's winning that A block. Then we have the B block finals on Monday, June 3rd. And on that B block final night, we will have Rocky Romero against, we have Ryusuke Taguchi against Will Ospreay, Rocky Romero against Bandito, Yo versus Robbie Eagles, Ren Narita versus Bushi, and El Phantasmo versus Doki. And then, obviously, the winner of the A block and the B block will meet each other on the Best of Super Junior final show, June 5th, from Ryogoku Hall. We also got Tanahashi versus Jay White on that night, and some kind of confrontation between Jon Moxley and Juice Robinson.
Yeah, definitely. The finals looks to be a great show. Wondering if they'll bring in any other title matches during the finals.
I don't think so, because Dominion is like 4 days right after the finals, so I'm sure they're gonna want to have some big title matches for Dominion. So I think we'll get the junior finals match. We'll get the Tanahashi, Jay White, potentially Mox versus Juice for the U.S. title. And then I think we'll just kind of get a bunch of multi-man matches that will set up Dominion.
Yeah, if you absolutely need to, you could chuck in a 6-man tag title defense because... Oh,
that's true. Yeah, they could always have a never 6-man defense. Because, as of right now, we only have 3 matches announced for Dominion. We know we have the big IWGP Heavyweight Championship match with Kazuchika Okada defending against one of the number 1 contenders for the AEW World title, Chris Jericho. We also have the IWGP Intercontinental Championship match between Kota Ibushi and Tetsuya Naito, and then the Never Openweight Championship match with Tomohiro Ishii and Taichi.
Yeah, Dominion looking like a very good card, and also we'll probably have all the other titles on the line at that show as well.
Right, we're going to have the winner of the Best of the Super Juniors challenging Dragon Lee. I'm guessing there'll probably be a IWGP Heavyweight Tag Title match, maybe God versus maybe Evil and Sonata, maybe. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to kind of see how the rest of that card kind of fills out.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, that's going to wrap things up for this week. Muzza, thanks again for filling in for the young boy this week. On next week's show, I will not be here. I will be on vacation. I will be on a cruise to Alaska. So I think the game plan right now for next week will be Young Boy and Rich Latta. So hoping that all that works out, and we'll be able to give you guys some more Best of the Super Junior coverage here next week on the show, and of course all the latest news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. You can support our show by subscribing to the Social Suplex Podcast Network on the podcast app of your choice, leaving that rating and review. Make sure you connect with us on social media. On Twitter, I am at Jeremy L. Donovan. Muzza is at MurrayBone44. You can follow the show at KI Strong Style. Also, you can follow us at Social Suplex. On Facebook, we're facebook.com/Social Suplex. Also, you can find us in the Wrestling Squared Circle group, facebook.com/group/Wrestling Squared Circle. On Reddit, I am the Pro Black Guy. Muzza is Muzza_44. Josh is Keeping It Strong Style. You can email me, Jeremy at socialsuplex.com. Make sure you check out all the other shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. On Sundays, we have One Nation Radio, hosted by Rich Latta and James Boyd. On Wednesdays, we have the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show from Scotland. Every other Wednesday, we have our podcast dedicated to independent wrestling, Grown Men Watch This Shit, hosted by Jeremy Tate and Chris Bryan. On Thursday, we have NXT, Then, Now, and Forever. On Fridays, we have our new show, Get in the Ring with Danny and Mike. They're going to be covering some MLW, Impact, and Ring of Honor. And on Saturdays, we have All Things Elite with Floyd Johnson Jr. and Amy Euler. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating and review. And we will catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Ichiban.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.